To quote the great Officer Murphy, I'm having trouble. Today on Readus Reviews, I review Jigsaw, the 8th installment in the Saw franchise, and I'm not gonna lie, readers, I'm conflicted as fuck. So the story takes place years after Saw 7, and now there are Jigsaw copycat murders happening. 5 people have been captured and are currently going through rigorous traps and obstacles while the police are trying to find out who is this new copycat Jigsaw. So if I were to compare this story to the other installments of the Saw franchise, I would have to say that it's a mixture between 4 and 5, which, now that I think about it, is probably the reason why I'm so conflicted about this bitch. Like, I loved 4, 5 could have been a whole lot better. Another reason why I'm honestly conflicted about the story for this movie is because it was handled in a way where I wasn't sure if this was meant to be a one-off that took place in the same universe, or if they had the intention of using this to kick off a sequel series of movies, if you will. Because there are definitely elements of the story that made me think that they were going in that direction, like Scream 4 would have went if it made enough money. But instead they kind of went the Final Destination 5 route. They introduced new elements, but at the same time they ended up wrapping up loose ends. And because of how the story actually went, which I won't get into details because spoilers for anybody who actually plan on seeing this, but you can kind of understand where I'm coming from as far as looking at this story and being a confused wreck. Especially since I don't really watch the Saw movies necessarily for the traps. I watch them for the characters that are in the predicaments that they are in to see how they handle their inner demons and their overall communication over the course of the game that they are in. Basically, unlike everybody else who uses this as a bold-faced lie, I genuinely watch Saw movies for the articles. Yeah, I feel like that's a good analogy. Speaking of which, only 2 of the victims impacted me the most, but that's mostly because of the actors' portrayal and the stage presence that they had, not necessarily because of the characters per se. That honor actually goes to the black guy in the movie. And I'm pretty sure you already know how it turned out. The runner-up characters I would have to say are the autopsy characters that are handling the case with the police, but they were still kind of weak. Like, they try to make up for it by having the female autopsy character be like this huge Jigsaw fan, but it felt a bit ham-fisted at times. And the male autopsy character, who was clearly supposed to be the main character in this movie, didn't really impact me the way that he was supposed to be because he's the main character. Which kind of helps me transition to the things that I both like and dislike about this movie. Yes, the things that I like about this movie are also things that I didn't like about this movie. Once more, conflicted as fuck. For example, the overall explanation that happens at the end of every Saw movie as far as how this shit went down, I thought was pretty well done on a narrative standpoint. On a continuity standpoint, not so much. Like, everything added up as far as like taking into consideration everything that happened in the first 7 movies, but at the same time, because I did that, it still felt weak to me. Despite appreciating how everything went down in this movie, it still felt weak to me. Like, Saw 5 weak, and that shit was fucking weak. Like, I genuinely had a hard time, and I'm still having a hard time, trying to figure out if I genuinely like or dislike this movie because it both works and fails on a narrative and a continuity standpoint at the same fucking time. How the fuck does that happen? Like, I'm honestly having a hard time trying to process this information. Readers, in the end, Jigsaw is in fact a Saw movie, but it suffers from a bit of identity crisis. If you're an on-again, off-again fan of the franchise, then this will probably be fine for you. If you're a stan like I am and you know how all the 7 narratives work in cohesive order before this movie happened, then you're more than likely probably going to end up conflicted about whether or not this was worth the wait. Either way, this is not worth a full admittance price if you're planning on catching this at the movies. This is matinee price for real, for real. And I would say more than likely it's only worth a rental if you're planning on catching it when it comes out on home video. So with that, readers, your homework assignment for the day. Write in the comment section below what you thought of Jigsaw if you've seen it. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday. But until then, this is Readus 101. Class dismissed.